Hello, and welcome to the MOR Cast, the intersectionality of motherhood and entrepreneurship. I am your host, Shon-tay. This episode of the MOR Cast is entitled Graduation Season. If you're a new listener here, hi, I'm Shanta, a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur. All these things are full-time for me. Are you a mom and an entrepreneur? If you are, you know that your first responsibility or ministry is to your family. That means we make sacrifices, but we never put business or anything else in front of our families. But as we build our business and serve our families, sometimes it can make us feel like we're a little behind schedule because we're making sacrifices. But last week, something big happened that is going to change my course. Let's get into it. During the pandemic, I transitioned from full-time employee and part-time entrepreneur to full-time entrepreneur. It was almost seamless because everything was virtual. You know the drill. You didn't have to dress up, you didn't have to drive, you just had to show up in front of the computer. But when school transitioned back to in-person learning, it thrust me back into the position of driving my son to and from school. And it cut into some time I needed for business. As a parent, I made the choice to drive my child to school because it's safer than public transportation. But making that choice came with a price. It meant I had to forego or reconfigure things that I wanted and needed to do. If you're a mom, you get it. I've always taken my son to school, but school was always in the same area as work. When work became home base, I had not considered how much of a chore driving him to school would be when school reopened. Being in the flow of rush hour traffic interrupted things that I needed to do and forced me to replan my day. I found myself frustrated and irritated in the midst of the drive because it appeared that people had forgotten how to drive after the pandemic. It was a challenge at times. Nevertheless, I persevered because I understood that this was a temporary situation. And when it was over, my child would be at another tier of his education, and high school is closer to home. Well, I'm officially over the hump. I am the proud parent of a middle school graduate. Since the beginning of the year, I've been telling my son that we were both graduating because I had driven him to school for so many years, and I felt that within his accomplishment, not taking anything away from him, but I needed to celebrate the fact that I would never have to make that trek again. When he was in elementary school, the route to school was about 30 minutes, but it increased to about 40 to 45 minutes for middle school, although we were going to the same area. It had become quite the challenge to toggle back and forth in traffic and get everything done that I needed to get done in a day, which entails being a wife, a mom, and an entrepreneur. So, not taking this drive allows more time for me to focus on business and gives me a little time for myself. I'm excited because as he transitions to high school, I am also transitioning. He's a little more mature and can manage more responsibility, allowing me to loosen the reins and do a lot less. This, ladies, is a sweet spot. Although he is not out of the nest yet, I have more time to commit to some things that were off the table for business last year. because I needed to cover him a little more as he navigated through his middle school years. Ladies, it's graduation season, and as I said before, I graduated. I have completed being the parent of a middle schooler. I know you're saying you still have high school before college, but I'm prepping for this next season as a mom and an entrepreneur, and I am looking forward to what happens next. Is this the season of transition for you as a mom and entrepreneur also? If you are a mom, what stage are you in with your kids? Are you the hands-on mom, or do you get assistance? Do you ever feel like the next venture or tier of your business must take a backseat to your kids? Or are you building with external support? What have you sacrificed to secure your family or your kids' education? Let's talk about it. Need some encouragement? Tune in to Test and Testimonies Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time live on Instagram. Test and Testimonies will have you on the edge of your seat as you witness women sharing their trials and their triumphs. Test and Testimonies Friday nights on Instagram at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at Talk Like God. You won't be disappointed, but you will definitely be encouraged. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the MOR Cast on graduation season. If you enjoy the MOR Cast, don't forget to tune in again next week. Drop me a line here or chat with me at the MOR Cast on Twitter. You're always welcome to become a supporter. And don't forget to share this episode with a friend. Until next time. This is a special shout out to the ladies who tune in to the MOR Cast from Canada, Kosovo, Mexico, and of course, the United States. Thanks, ladies, for your faithful listening.